Welcome back to The Capitolist, and we are very close to the beginning of the 2018 legislative session. Joining me to talk about that and what might be on the agenda is Katie Webb from Clodney Fass and Chris Dudley from Southern Strategy Group. So I want to ask you guys, I know it's hard to predict, we're still a little ways out, but there are going to be some things that move quickly in the House and the Senate, and I wanted to get your thoughts. What crystal ball, just predict. You don't have to, it's okay if you're wrong, but I think you guys probably have some idea of what might move first in the House and Senate.
Right. So I think what we've consistently been hearing from the folks in the House is legislation that they passed last year. They intend to pass very quickly this year and send to the Senate early. So I think, for example, I work on a lot of insurance issues. So last year, the House passed a repeal of personal injury protection insurance, as well as some additional parameters around a legal mechanism called assignment of benefits. Right. And each of those bills have been heard in their one committee of reference in the House. They're ready for the House floor, and we have been told to be prepared to see them get sent over to the Senate very quickly. Those are just two that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. The Speaker, who knows the process well, very policy-oriented. I mean, he has moved his priorities through, as Katie kind of articulated. They're kind of ready to go. I mean, the Speaker's going to pass those out in the first week. I think on the Senate side, President Negron's big issues have always been higher ed, and the higher ed bill, of course, got vetoed by the governor, so he is back with that, and I think you'll see that move early, and you'll see these insurance reforms move in the first week as well.
So who do you think, it's hard to say, but if you had to predict, I want to do more of this sort of who's the big winner of this opening week of the session, who's the loser. But heading into this thing, who's sort of who's got the advantage, who's got the high ground going in? And of course we could say the Speaker and the Senate President, but if you had to name somebody, who's sort of the presumed winner going into legislative session for the House and the Senate? Do you guys have anybody that comes to mind?
Well, I would say the Speaker. Would be my pick.
I tried to take it away, but yeah, he does have the sort of the higher hand right now over the Senate, just because the Senate's got some admin things they've got to deal with. We don't have to get into that right now, but yeah, I think right now he's got he's the prime mover, I would say, just because he's got a clean shot at the legislative slate, while the Senate has some other things they've got to deal with first. Correct,
and I think to the point that Chris made earlier, he has positioned his. I don't know that I would necessarily call them priorities, but issues that he's supportive of, he's positioned them right now in a way to where that chamber's ready to take them up and move them out very quickly. And they're pretty much, I think, as he wants them. I don't think there's a lot of changes that he's looking forward to making those. So I would say in the first week, he is probably going to have a lot of progress on the things that he wants to see passed and send them over to the Senate and then see how the Senate responds.
Okay.
I mean, agree with Katie on the Speaker. I would also say Rob Bradley is going to really emerge as kind of a winner, not in just week one, but in the 8 weeks that follow. I mean, he is taken over the helm of Senate Appropriations. We're going to have two new appropriations chairmen in both sides, with Trujillo leaving. And Bradley's a remarkably smart guy. He is probably being teed up to be the appropriations chairman for 2 years under Galvano.
What's the difference, would you say, between him and say Senator Latval in terms of the way they operate? Are they similar, or are there some significant style differences?
Very different, I think. I mean, Jack is just a creature of the process. He knows it well.
He's been here for so long.
Yeah, and he likes all the moving parts and pieces. I mean, this is what he does 24/7, and he kind of likes to move those chess pieces around. I think Chairman Bradley he's busy. He's got a business back home to run and a young family, so he is, he's going to have to take a lot more kind of black and white approach to the appropriations process, and he's got a lot to learn. He's fairly new in the legislature, and it's an $85 billion budget, so he's got a lot to learn still.
Okay. Stay with us. We'll be right back.